Don't go.
Welcome to the Vinny Rock Podcast.
I took the blows and did it my way.
It's time. The Vinny Rock Podcast. Yeah, we're recording. Yo, what's up with welcome to the Vinny Rock Podcast. Sorry, gotta get my mind right. Let me hit these sponsors real quick before we jump into my next guest for the show. All right, guys, you guys already know Core Medical Group. Right now in the month of January, Core Medical Group is giving a discount. You guys hit them up if you have any questions, especially if you're military and law enforcement, they're going to hook it up. So hit them up, let them know. Core Medical Group, it's TRT. They can deliver it directly to your house. Yeah, directly to your freaking house. All you got to do is get your blood work and see if you need TRT. I recommend it if you're over 25. I promise you, and you're in the military, you're in law enforcement, you probably need TRT. Go check it out. You might want to ask questions. If you're getting sluggish, if you're feeling slow, if you're feeling like you're not recovering as fast as you used to, go get your blood work done. I recommend it. It could save your life. Go check them out. Core Medical Group. You have any questions, hit me up. Beyond Clothing. Beyond Clothing is an outdoor expeditionary apparel. Outdoor stuff, cold weather, winter, right now. Yeah, do it. Go check them out. BeyondClothing.com. Let them know that I sent you. Use the promo code ROCCO, ROCCO. Not ROCKO, not ROCO, not Rico, not like Uncle Rico. God damn it, it's Rocco, ROCCO. Let them know. Willie Peach Chocolate. Willie Peach Chocolate is a veteran-owned company that does chocolate. Yeah, and some of them are spicy. Some of them are not. Either way, if you like spicy chocolate, that's the motherfucking place to go. If you like chocolate that tastes like s'mores, that's also the place to go. He also has some new spicy hot cocoa. I'm excited to try that one. That one sounds freaking awesome. I like some spicy hot cocoa in my mornings. Also, he's got some hot sauce called, smoke. Fuck, it's called, damn it. How am I messing this up? I don't know. I'm so sorry. You guys go check out Willie Peach Chocolate. They'll have the answers. Go check them out. GMR Gold. GMR Gold is a subscription-based precious metals service. You can sign up for a bullion box for $100 to $200 to $300 and get yourself some gold. We all like receiving some silver and gold in the mail, don't we? That's always fun. It's like a nice little fun project that shows up. It's like a little gift that shows up in the mail and makes you happy, puts a smile on your face. My daughter's over there laughing her ass off. Yes. Go check out gmrgold.com. Hit up a bullion box. Use my promo code, save 10%. Don't forget aircraftmaintainer.com. If your job is to fix airplanes in the military, this is the place for you. You can get out of the military and get paid at a fair wage. You can get some certificates that you deserve. Go check them out. It's free if you're in the military. Hit them up, aircraftmaintainer.com. Perseverance Survival, perseverancesurvival.com. I'm going to say it again, perseverancesurvival.com. They've got Ranger panties, all kinds of cool colors, multicam, tiger stripe. They also have the Whoopee hoodie, the home of the original Whoopee hoodie, right here, right now, Perseverance Survival. Let them know Rocco sent you. I love that place. Lead Slingers Whiskey, the only place for the most freedom whiskey in your motherfucking mouth. Peanut butter. Excuse my language. Go check out your local store for Lead Slingers Whiskey. If you don't have it, ask them to get it. If you don't have it in your state yet, we're still working on it. Also, don't forget Warfighter Tobacco. Tobacco you can buy online, sent to your house. Great for special occasions. Let them know Rocco sent you. Go check out warfightertobacco.com. Bam, bam, bam. Hey, so I invited my daughter on the podcast. Excuse me. Let me get a drink. Was that your cell phone or mine? Put it on silent. Let's go. Jesus. Hey, why don't you introduce yourself to the tens and not even 10 people that listen to the show. Please introduce yourself. You got to speak into the microphone. Yeah, they can't hear you when you're laughing. Yeah, that's still not your name. Go.
I'm Star.
That's your whole name? Say your whole name.
Yvette Starla Vargas.
All right. And how old are you?
14.
Can you speak up into the microphone a little bit better? Lower the mic. Lower it. There you go. There you go. So, how old are you?
14.
Yeah? And who are you?
Your daughter?
No way. Really?
I'm not sure.
Oh, that's rude. All right, this is my 14-year-old daughter. Her name is Yvette. We call her Star. She is in the house today. We're going to talk about a couple things, man. I have some dads hitting me up about wrestling and girls. They hit me about all kinds of stuff. And let's talk about, we'll start with this. This weekend was a tough wrestling match, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a tough one to take for multiple different reasons. I don't know if you understood the gravity of this tournament. I think you did. If she would have won first place on this tournament, she would have had they call it a triple crown. She would have won 3 different specific tournaments at the same weight class and would have been able to receive this award, a major award, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, there wasn't the same amount of turnout on this tournament that there was previous tournaments, so they had to combine 2 weight classes, the 101 weight class and the 106 weight class, which inadvertently threw my oldest daughter in the same weight class as her. And we're also now facing a girl we didn't normally face. We faced once before, but not a second time. And that girl's pretty good. And so here we go. The first seed you pulled was the number 1 girl, right? We won't mention her name, correct?
Yeah.
And you beat her before.
Yes.
How did you beat her the first time?
A half. I got a pin.
You put her in a half and a pin. How fast was that? It was the second. It was the second.
Second period.
The second period, right? And so in this one, what happened? Did anything feel different?
I was just nervous.
What were you nervous about? Did you know that if you won first place, you would have won that award?
Yeah.
Was that probably a little bit extra pressure on you?
Yeah, I think so.
You put that on yourself?
Yeah.
Why? Did you really want that?
No, I
mean, you just like winning?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what happened in this match? It started off, everything looked good. You tied up, which we talked about. We probably shouldn't tie up unless you have a plan, right?
Yes.
And then what happened?
She got me in a headlock.
And then what?
Then I got pinned.
Yeah, you got caught. And how'd that make you feel?
Bad.
Why?
Because I know I can beat her.
Yeah. And then you also knew that you lost that award right away, didn't you?
Yep.
So then your sister in the same bracket beats the next 3, right? She beat 3 people in a row to
2 people.
2 people in a row
Mm-hmm.
to get to the championship round against the same girl.
Yep.
And what happened?
She got pinned.
She got pinned, and she was winning. She got a little excited and cocky and tried to do a banana split for whatever reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that put her in a bad position. She ended up getting reversed and then pinned. So now you got both sisters. None of them won the weight bracket where they both either should have, and would have been a perfect scenario as you guys both face each other for the championship. Would have been really cool for me to see. Either way. And that's a tough one to take. Why are losses so hard for you to take?
Because every time I lose, I know I can do better.
And what does it bother you? Why does it bother you so bad? I mean, it bothers you bad when you lose.
Yeah.
But why? What is it? I mean, I'm sure it's not pressure from me. Do I expect you to win every match?
No.
Do I care if you win every match?
No.
So I'm wondering, what is it that you put so much pressure on yourself for?
I don't know. I just expect myself to win.
Well, why don't you give a little background how long you've been wrestling?
For 5 years.
5 years. And what made you want to start wrestling? How about that? Let's think of that one. What made you want to start wrestling when you were 8 years old?
Watching my brothers wrestle.
And what, you just thought it looked cool?
Yeah.
And what happened in your first wrestling match ever?
I beat the kid.
This freaking girl. So me, I just so you guys know where I'm coming from with this. I never expected my daughters to wrestle. I expected to play softball, volleyball. Those are some kind of sports we've played around with. Soccer, even we talked about, or she's even played a couple seasons of that. But I really wanted my boys to do wrestling. And understand why. I wanted my boys to do wrestling because it was a sport that I didn't understand or I didn't have experience in besides as an adult. I started wrestling in the Combatives Fight House with other wrestlers, other instructors, guys like Jason Norwood and whatnot. And we kind of sparred with each other and we trained each other for fights and doing the All Army Combatives tournaments and all that stuff, right? So this is kind of what we did. I was beat by some wrestlers in some combatives tournaments, and I never understood that art form, right? That sport was so different. Like those guys, wrestlers, were very gritty, very tough. I feel like the hardest days they faced in their lives were like in some hard ass wrestling practices. I grew up boxing. I grew up doing some jiu-jitsu. I grew up doing all this stuff, and a willingness to spar and do some all kinds of stand-up. It was just that gap that I was missing was wrestling. I can teach very fundamentals of jiu-jitsu. I can teach the fundamentals of striking, but I didn't understand the fundamentals of wrestling back in the day. So as as teaching combatives throughout the years, my kids are kind of involved in my classes when I'm watching them or whatnot. I was teaching combative class for the Border Patrol when I originally got custody of them, and they'd show up to my class, and they'd sit there, and sometimes they'd spar in the rings, and so my kids have kind of been fully engulfed into the fight culture because of my lifestyle already. Then we moved to El Paso. My boy's playing t-ball, and one of the coaches says his son wrestles, and he's like, dude, you should come bring your kids to the wrestling. It's a really good team. And that's when he was 4 years old at the time. I'm like, 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, well, let's put him in. So we got him in wrestling, him and his brother. So I think it's 4 years old, and then you have his 6-year-old. And so they're wrestling, and during that time, I think they jumped into one grade higher. So it was like 5-year-old and 7 years old. No, because you were 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a 4, 6, and then you're 8.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're taking them to wrestling, and they're doing all their practices and stuff, they start competing. And I think after 3 tournaments, Star was like, Dad, I want to wrestle. And it was a shock to me because I was like, okay, that's cool. And there's a rule in our house. If you start a season, you finish the season, right?
Yep.
Yep. No matter what, you can't quit, correct?
Yes.
So I said, I'm going to give you a chance. Are you sure you want it? Because if I'm going to pay the money, you're going to finish the season. And you said?
Yes.
There we go. And so here we go. She decides to start the season. She starts the season. We buy her gear. She's wrestling. For 2 days before the first tournament, I said, screw it, sign her up. And the first wrestling match she ever had, she freaking won. I mean, it was the weirdest thing ever because this is against a boy. Again, this is 8 years old against a boy. Boom, she wins. And right away, I kind of knew, I was like, oh, there's something different about this girl. She really has the fight in her. And she goes on to wrestle, and she has a not so good season, lost a lot, right? But it's kind of expected your first year as a wrestler. You tend to lose a lot. Also, just trying to figure out the sport, figure out the anxiety of it. There's a lot of fear. It's a lot of it's just really stressful sometimes to fight and be put in these really awkward positions. That year, her little brother got like 3rd in the state in freaking beginners, and then 4th in regular division, Holden. And then Hunter didn't place. He just had he had a whole rough go at wrestling as a whole. And then the next year after that, Star's wrestling in the States, and she's wrestling against the number 3 in the state and loses in overtime. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that 2 seasons after?
I don't know.
Either way. So this girl continues to wrestle, which kind of blew my mind. And as she continued to wrestle, then Belle jumped into wrestling. And then now we have girls who wrestle more than our boys do. And here we are. We're in Utah right now. These girls are competing in high school. They're the first 2 varsity. My oldest daughter is the first varsity female to ever to be in her high school. And then my daughter right here is a freshman, jumped into as a varsity as well. And they're competing. And I have dads say, like, why do you feel about girls wrestling? Well, it's like, for me, I think it's been, accidental choice. We didn't mean to do it, but we did it. And now I think it's probably the best sport that could have ever offered my kids to do, boys and girls. How do you feel about if you ever had to get into a fight?
I'd be nervous.
Are you nervous before wrestling matches?
Yeah.
You know that nerve is never going to go away?
Yeah.
You're always going to feel something, right? You're always going to feel something. Now it just depends. Everyone's kind of different, but like in fights, it's always uncomfortable, right? Why? You know why it's uncomfortable to me? Because you never know what's going to happen. Right? You proved that this weekend. You didn't know you've beaten this girl. You could beat her, and you make one mistake and the whole thing changes.
Yeah.
What is it about wrestling that you like? Because I'm sure people probably think I force you. I don't force you anymore. There was a period I did, correct?
Yes.
There was a period, I can admit it, and I think it was still the right choice. But there's a period in her life she did not want to wrestle. And people saw that. Actually, live, they saw the no shit true emotions of her on TV on the History Channel. Her wanting to quit wrestling.
Yep.
And what is it? Why did you want to quit wrestling?
I don't know. I think just all the losses.
Just piling up and piling up.
Yeah.
You start to feel like you just weren't good enough.
Yeah.
And I knew that. It was such a hard time because you lost some really important matches to you, right? She lost the state championships for Utah twice to people we know she could beat. She just made mistakes. Maybe not Lizzie. Lizzie's really tough, right? That girl. There was one girl that was about 15 pounds heavier, 10 pounds heavier, and no one was in Star's weight class. So last year, Star's 95 pounds, no one in a 95-pound weight class, so she had to jump up to 115. And so she made it to the finals, and the girl beat her in points in the end. And they were both exhausted, but just that weight difference was painful, and she lost. Then on another state final, there's a girl that we've had trouble with all season. She's a jiu-jitsu background, so she has a little bit more experience on the mat and has a few different moves that are hard to train against. Star just had close matches the whole time and just lost by points because Star wasn't making points. And she lost to state finals on that girl. And then 2 years before that, you lost to Brooke, another girl who's a great wrestler, a great person, but we beat her early in the season within like 30 seconds. And then all of a sudden the next season, and come to the finals, the dad studied Star. Me as a coach didn't think to work on anything extra, and they did a leg ride. If you guys know wrestling, leg ride is a pretty challenging move, especially if someone puts a leg ride on you. And this girl leg rode us and beat us by points. And then the next season, you beat her twice in a row. Yep. For a first place. So it goes back and forth, right? Maybe she got complacent when she faced you. You got complacent one time as well. Back and forth, back and forth. And so you just wanted to quit because you didn't like it, or you didn't make you feel good?
I don't know. There's just a lot of feelings going on.
Yeah? Was it when you lose, it just hurts?
Yeah.
What do I tell you about your losses, though?
You learn from them.
So then why does it beat you up so bad?
I don't like losing. Makes me feel
like a loser.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't equate to the two, right? It doesn't. Just because you lose in a wrestling match doesn't mean you're going to be a loser in life.
I don't know. Yeah, but I just don't like losing.
Yeah. So how do you get better?
You practice.
Weird of hearing you say that. Right?
Yeah.
If you lose by a headlock, what should you go work on?
Headlocks.
How do you get out of a headlock?
Yeah.
Right? If you lost by a leg ride, how come you've never worked on that?
I don't know.
How come you haven't gone on YouTube yourself and started researching how to do better?
Because I gotta practice.
Well, so that's a question for me as a dad asking you, because here's the truth. Like I can only push you so much before it gets to the point where like I'm doing it for you. Right?
Yeah.
And like my dad didn't push me in baseball. My dad just kind of gave me opportunity. My dad was able to pay for a pitching coach. My dad, helped me do these things and signed me up for these teams. So I played baseball year round because my dad signed me up. But I was the one who showed up. I was the one who did the practice. I was the one who was motivated. I said, Dad, can you sign me up for this? Dad, can you sign me up for this? I was like, so, for me as a dad, I don't ever want to force you to wrestle, but there's definitely those years in between. I knew you loved it. And you as a dad listening, any of you dads out there listening, if there's this space where, do you allow your son to quit? Do you allow your daughter to quit a sport because they say they don't love it, but you see the love they have? It's just they're not good at it. They're not finding success, and all the failures are really beating them down, like emotionally beating them down. That's what we had with Star. Star was losing. Star was winning some really good matches. Star was losing some very important matches to her. And she doesn't see wins. Like, call a win and a loss and a loss and a win. It doesn't matter. But like, there's wins in each match, right? There's wins in each. If she does a double leg takedown for the first time ever, that's a win. Whether she loses that match or not, it's still a win. Like in the big picture of things, there's these small victories that you always want to stack on. And so she doesn't understand the small victories. She just understands the end state, whether you raise your hand at the end or not. And for me as a dad, all I've tried to do is show her like, dude, who cares about the win or the loss? At the end of the day, did you get better? Did you improve somewhere? Because good days stacked upon good days will create winners, right? Good days stacked upon good days and good trainings and good muscle memories. All these things will stack. Eventually, there's that tipping point where it falls together. She's now at a point in her life where things are coming together. She now understands where she makes mistakes. She now understands. So in the girls' divisions, she has, I think it's, let's see, what was it, 12 wins, 1 loss? Girls' division? No, more than that. It's about 15 wins, 1 loss.
I don't know.
All pins.
Yeah.
So it's so that's pretty ridiculous. That 1 loss you got pinned, but everything else is 15. It's about 15-0.
Yeah.
And all of those are pins. Those weren't even challenging pins. Those are just pins, right? Those are in the girls in Utah right now at 100 pounds. There's probably very few. That girl you wrestle is not 100 pounds. She's like 106.
Yeah.
But at 100 pounds, there's probably very few who can say they can beat you. And that's freaking crazy, right? Now, even in boys, 100 pounds, I'm interested in seeing how many 100 pounders could even beat you. There's probably 4 in the state. That says a lot. But that was how many years since 8 till now have you just had losing years? Every year, almost every single year, right?
Yeah.
And then now what? It finally has come together. You are the only freshman competing in half of these tournaments in varsity. Does that not like sound like it does not? I know you're probably not even seeing. I'm seeing. This is what I see as a dad stepping back. I say, holy shit. My 14-year-old daughter is on varsity competing in tournaments where she's the only freshman on the varsity teams. That's crazy. That shows you year after year after year of all these losses. Those weren't losses. Those were learning, right? Those were learning points. Those were you have opportunity to get better. And every time if you learn from your mistakes, you get better. Like this weekend, we can learn from one big one, headlocks. How do you get out of those? Why did you get into it? Why did you get into it? I tried to explain it to you.
Tied up.
Yeah, how'd you get? Well, you were attempting a move and she caught you from that move. What was the move?
A fireman or
No, you weren't doing a fireman.
no, a double leg.
You were trying to do a duck under.
I don't know.
You're trying to do a duck under. You popped the arm, trying to go under and get to her rear or something.
Yeah.
And as you did it, you never changed levels. Your head got stuck, and then that's turned into a head and arm for her. She just rotated and landed on you, and game on. Right?
Yep.
All that happened is we can learn from that. We can learn that, hey, you obviously need to work on that and practice more. And then 2, sometimes you're going to get stuck. Even the best in the world get stuck. What's your dreams for wrestling? Do you even have any?
No.
You really don't?
No.
Would you want to wrestle for the rest of your life?
No.
When do you want to stop?
After college.
So you do want to wrestle in college?
I think so.
How about what happens if the Olympics offer you an opportunity?
I don't want to go.
Say that a little louder, please, because I don't think people understand this. What if the Olympics say that a team wants you on their team?
I don't want to go.
Why?
Because I want to be a doctor.
So you want to skip out on the Olympics to be a doctor?
Yes.
You can't do the Olympics first, then be a doctor?
I just want to hurry and be a doctor.
Oh, man, that blows my mind. Any of you guys listening, you ever hear some shit like that? It's crazy. If someone said, hey, you could be in the Olympics for baseball, I'm like, yes. Hey, you can go compete in the Olympics for boxing. Yes. If they said right now, hey, go be in the Olympics and be an old man in the Olympics. Yes, I'll do it. Like that's like one of the most, man, one of the most notable things you could do as an American is to serve your country and represent them in the Olympics. That's huge. Like people go their whole lives fighting for that opportunity. And how many national teams have asked you to join their team? Several.
Yeah.
And why don't you do it?
I don't know. I'm nervous, I guess.
Nervous of what? That's good. I didn't know you were nervous of what? You don't think you're good enough?
I'm not doing good.
What are you talking about? You're really nervous about that?
Well, if they ask you to be on their team and then you don't do good, it's like, why are you even on the team?
How do you know if you're going to do good or not?
Because every other person that I would go against is also good.
Yeah. That's-
Exactly. So if I don't do good,
But okay, that's crazy. So this is the first time I'm hearing this. This is good to know, right? This is good to know. You faced last season, you faced the number one girl in the world. This girl took worlds at 13 years old. She took worlds at 95 pounds. You faced her last year, correct?
Mhm.
And you were the only girl that didn't get pinned. You were the only girl that took her the distance and she beat you by points. And you scored points on her. So, you scored 3 points on her that day. On the world's best wrestler in your weight class, in your age, you still scored points and you didn't get pinned. So now what are you scared of? That doesn't put in perspective?
no.
Oh my God. I didn't know that's why you didn't want to do it, because you were nervous. You shouldn't be. That's how you get better. You only get better when you practice with people that are better. If you're the best one in your circle of friends, you need to move out, girl, and get new friends, or else you're not getting any better. You need to be challenged daily. All these fighters out there, they need to be challenged. They have training partners that are brilliant training partners. You need to surround yourself with like some crazy talent. And I know you're doing it with boys, but boys and girls wrestling is confusing because you never really can identify how good you are because you're wrestling against boys with muscles, right? Even though you're beating some boys, you're losing to some boys. You know, if you wrestle against girls in your weight class, 100 pounds, that's how you best determine it. The only way you're going to do that is go compete in these national teams and see where you're at. What if you are the best in the world at 100 pounds? How are you ever going to know? How would you ever solidify that idea, like, am I good or not, without actually going out there and trying?
I don't know.
So what's your plan? To never find out if you're good enough? So then you can avoid the pain of losing?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I hate losing.
Oh my goodness. So why wouldn't you take the mindset of work harder and be better so then no one can beat you? Instead, I'd rather not even know if I'm good enough. Huh?
No.
That's wrong. Have I ever shown you to be like that?
No.
So then why would you not just try and be the best?
Well, I guess these.
Huh?
I don't know.
It's rough to hear that. It's not bad. Like, look, you're a kid and like that's a lot of pressure, right? That's putting a lot of pressure. And I'm not saying I ever expect you to. I've only told you, hey, you got a lot of opportunity because a lot of people are asking about you to join their national team and you should do it. And you say, no, I don't want to. And her answer to me every freaking time is, I don't want to be in the Olympics. And that is like the one thing that blows my mind when a kid says it, like, what's wrong with you? And so like it's good to know that you're just nervous about losing. Somehow we got to get to the point where losing isn't as emotionally painful for you. Like you're going to have to realize, because you've had 3 years of some solid wrestling and some good, like you haven't got your state championships that you're trying for, but you've had some really good years.
Yeah.
So at one point, you're going to have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You're going to have to be comfortable with losing and saying the only way you're going to reach those get those state championship awards, get those big things that you're wanting, the only way you get those is by challenging yourself to go harder, challenging yourself to go more, finding training partners that are better, right? Like you have anxiety with new teams.
Yep.
Speaking to the mic, right?
Yes.
So like we have to somehow find a way to get you out of that anxiety of training with new people, because the only way you're going to be better is by training with new people.
Just new people in general scary.
Why?
I don't know.
What do you think people are going to do to you? What do you think? You think I would ever allow anyone to do anything to you?
No, it's just
What, are they going to kidnap you?
you would.
No, I'm saying, what, are they going to kidnap you?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that a thought process?
That is
That's one of them?
sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, what's up with you, mama? So I wouldn't let you work out with anyone I think would do. But again, I mean, I understand why, because I've always raised you that you what does crazy look like?
Can't tell.
You can't tell. Yeah. No, I get it. So we got to try and find. I want to try and work you into a national team where you're comfortable with. Find an all girls national team that you're comfortable with, even if it's in Colorado, Texas, California, whatever it is. But that's what I want to try and find. But you're not. You're just uncomfortable meeting new teams either way.
Yeah.
But if it's all girls, is it a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look at us. We're over here trying to convince my daughter that she might be able to compete in Olympics, and she says she doesn't want it. What is it though? You think? So let me ask you, when you were 9 years old, you got in trouble at school.
Oh, that was sad.
What did you do?
I stood on the table
Why?
because a kid triple dog dared me to.
So the star I knew before wrestling would have never, ever attempted that. Do you think wrestling has given you a lot of confidence?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. Well, when you are on the mat, a lot of people are watching you already. So, like,
Yeah.
that's already a bigger step than before.
Yeah. And how about, you've defended your brothers and sisters quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so why are you so willing to step up for people and fight for them?
Because everyone matters.
Yeah. And you're not afraid to fight people?
No.
When you get mad, it's a switch or what?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So this girl's kind of been the defender for the family for years, She's even stood up for her brother, who's 2 years younger than her. I mean, she almost started a school riot. She gathered up a bunch of kids to walk onto the playground area or whatever it is to go confront a boy who was bullying your brother, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these are things I don't condone. We had a big talk about it. I told her, so this is what I said. Her brother's being bullied. I said, Star, if he's not going to handle it, please find out who this boy is. Meaning, find out who he is and come tell me. So then I can go to the principal and try and get this thing handled accordingly. So by the time she comes home from school, she goes, Dad, I took care of it. And I was like, what? She goes, well, I think I might get in trouble for it too. I'm like, what happened? Right? Explain what happened.
Well, I told my friend, and then all my friends were like, oh yeah, let's go get this kid. And then they started telling everybody. And then there's this 6th grade part of outside that only the 6th graders can go on. And then there's a fence blocking it. And all the 8th graders line up on the fence screaming his name.
Goodness. And then you walked over there?
A couple people did, but he didn't walk over.
Yeah. What were you going to do if he hit you?
Punch him in the balls.
What? That's your answer? I would have you should have double legged him.
I mean, I could have, but mine's a better answer.
Oh my goodness. All right. We got to get there. Mom's calling us so we can get home already. So wrestling, man, you love it?
Yeah.
You need to keep wrestling?
Yeah.
What does it feel like to win? What's the best feeling when you win by points or by a pin?
I don't really care about winning.
But you hate losing.
Yeah.
I'm confused. So you need to win or else you get mad.
Yes.
So you don't care about winning. You care about winning.
I care about winning.
But you don't care how you win? I'm confused now.
I don't like showing that I won, but I like winning.
Got it. But what feels good in here? The pin? Like dominating or a good fight?
I don't know. Just
Do you like when you beat boys, does it feel a lot better than girls? Is there something special about beating boys?
yes.
What is that?
Nobody expects it.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel when a boy laughs when they sees they're going to wrestle you and then you beat him?
I don't care.
You don't care?
No, because I just beat them.
I love it. I love it. All right, Mama. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and talk about wrestling with the people. I'm proud of you whether you win or you lose. I just want you to not. My biggest thing on the wrestling mat is don't make mental mistakes and maintain your composure. If you win, you win. You lose, you lose. You win, you act like you've done it before. If you lose, you handle it like with class. Correct?
Yes.
My goal is to get you to show no emotion. You go out there and do your fucking job and walk away. Right?
Yes.
break the leg, break the wrist, walk away. All right, y'all. That's enough for the Vinny Rock Podcast. Thank you for listening. Hey, tell your fucking friends about it. Tell them to listen to it. I promise you, if they have kids, if they're just a dude, if they're whatever the case, I would like more people to know about this podcast. I'm just terrible at promoting it myself. Let them know what it's all about. Thanks for listening. I'm out.
And did it more